Yo, what's going on, guys? Melon back here again, and today I'm going to be talking about vintage versus modern collecting. I got some purchases from the past month to show you guys. As always, if you do enjoy, the usual stuff, like, subscribe. But the first purchase is really a low-end purchase. I was just trying to get some stock for advanced Crystal Beast cards that I've been selling, and so I tried to get a bunch of Emerald Tauruses because the seller had 11 of them. And I bought 11 Advanced Crystal Beast Emerald Tortoise, and I was sent the regular Crystal Beast, not the secret rare. And that's a little disappointing. I'll have to contact the seller. It is what it is. So I got those 11 of those, and then I got 5 of these to try and get free shipping with the Advanced Crystal Beast Emerald Tortoise, which these are the Speed Duel secret rare, which is the Speed Duel promos that are secret rare are the best value buys you can buy for a collection. If you want just a nice looking card, nice looking iconic card, these things cost nothing basically, and 44 cents for a card that looks this good, you can't really go wrong. So I picked up 5 of them. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with them. Hopefully I'll sell them down the road. I am a bit of a hoarder. Wow, I'm hiccuping as soon as I start the video, but I am a bit of a hoarder, so I shouldn't hold on to too many of these things. So those are some modern pickups. Another modern pickup, and this can get the discussion started, is Yatagarasu. You guys saw I bought one of these in one of my recent videos, bought another one. This card price has been in free fall, and it is what it is. I'm not going to say that it deserves to be higher. But a lot of Starlight Rares and other card prices have just been in free fall recently. Specifically modern cards, everything's going down across the board, but these modern cards are taking a huge, huge hit. And it really underlies one of the reasons that vintage collectors have been saying, I don't collect modern cards because of X. And that reason is because they can just print that exact same card in a new high rarity. And so it's going to the demand is going to cannibalize itself, and people are just going to go for the newest and shiniest thing. And things like Starlight Rares, as soon as they have quarter century secret rares, who cares about Starlight Rares anymore, really? So the original will hold some amount of value because it's the original, and even if they print a million of these new vintage or new modern cards, the first edition original print will hold some value if it's a pretty difficult card to get. And so vintage collectors have said, I don't touch modern because why would you spend money on this when it's just going to end up getting a new reprint and end up going down in price? If you buy it now, if I had bought this now, I would have saved money as opposed to when I bought this probably 3 weeks ago. And it is what it is. I like collecting the cards. I think it's really beautiful, but that is one of the big problems with modern. And people, I don't feel like collectors are as excited about some of the new sets, namely the Rarity collection, sort of taking away some of the exclusivity of the rarities themselves. So, something like Starlight Rares, quarter century secret rares are more or less identical to them, and they have really devalued the Starlight Rare rarity. And so modern collectors are saying, why would I collect these things? They're coming to the realization that they've been warned about. And so it is a little unfortunate for people who didn't realize this, that, those cards are not going to be as collectible as you once thought. But when you go to something like vintage collecting, so here I have a PSA 9 Solemn Judgment that I got from a friend, first edition out of Metal Raiders. I'm just going to crack this for my binder. I'm not a huge PSA graded card collector. This is just something, it was essentially pack fresh condition, and I needed one for my binder that was in really, really nice condition, so I got this one. But something like this, the difficulty with vintage collecting is that it just can get kind of boring. There isn't it's the difficulty of having a new shiny bright thing all the time and not having a shiny bright thing all the time. The advantage of modern collecting is the disadvantage of vintage, and vice versa. So something like this, I'm not a set collector. I don't enjoy collecting all of Metal Raiders. I just collect the stuff that I like from these sets. And the reality is that nothing new has come out of Metal Raiders in a long time. It's not like we're constantly finding out new things about the set. It's sort of, it's been out for a while. People know what they know about the set, and it's not like there's constantly new information to learn. And you can save up to try and hunt down better chases. For example, this is a PSA graded card, probably one of the last PSA graded cards I'll buy. It's Chaos Emperor Dragon, first edition, PSA 10 out of Invasion of Chaos. I don't really have a whole lot of PSA or, graded card goals after purchasing this one. This was kind of the one that I was thinking about getting for a long time, and I finally pulled the trigger. I ended up purchasing this because there weren't any that were coming on auction or coming to eBay, new listings for a long time. And then as soon as I purchased it, one arrived on auction. And I will be honest, that auction went for lower than what I paid for this thing. And I paid friends and family. So it is what it is. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. And, I wouldn't have bought this if I didn't want it at that price. And so I purchased it. I'm not looking to invest in this. This is probably a permanent collection piece for me. So now I have, one of the big chases I've wanted for a long, long time, but it just leaves me in a position where I say, okay, what else can I get? The problem is with vintage is it's either extremely expensive, and so there's sort of this wall due to the fact that I don't want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on every single card. But if you don't go after the really, really high-end stuff, it leaves you in a bit of a difficult position because there's not always new stuff to find out. If you've been here for years, it's not like you're constantly finding out new things. Every now and again, I find a card that I haven't thought about or I haven't really seen much of, and it's exciting. But looking a bit at my binder, these pages are full. I've already got my Blue Eyes, my Dark Magician, and my Red Eyes, and then the Exodia Limbs and Exodia Head, and then the God cards and Secret Rare. Now, some of these cards are not in the best condition, and that's just a compromise I've been willing to make. You save tons and tons of money by not chasing after them in mint condition, and for me, it doesn't really detract from the enjoyment I get for the cards that much. I have a main binder where I really, as you can tell from before, something like Solemn Judgment, I got it in PSA 9 condition. It was mint. The only problem is it's a bit off center. That's fine for me with a binder, and so I got it in PSA 9, and I'm going to crack it out of the case and put it in my binder. But for binders like this, I've been collecting these vintage cards. It's fun to collect while you're still putting things in the binder, but it's not like there are new things that pop up every day to collect. And so, the enjoyment of vintage is that, these are cards that really stick with me. They bring back memories from my childhood. Something like Dark Magician. This is such an iconic card. How could you not love it? It's iconic. People remember it. I remember it from my childhood. And so it's fun to put these in a binder. And you can see there's still empty spots where I'm either figuring out what I want or I know what I want and I haven't found a deal that I'm super, excited to make. But there are cards that really connect with my childhood, like these, starter deck cards. I remember seeing these as a child. They were a lot of fun to sort of look at and play with. It's just enjoyable to do the vintage stuff because it lets you connect with a past life that you live, basically. And then on the modern side, there's always something new. There's new things to learn about, new cards to enjoy. I see the new Dark Hole Dragon. That thing looks insane in Quarter Century Secret Rare. I love the art, and I'm hopefully going to pick one up when the price goes down a bit. It's not super expensive right now, but I imagine it's going to go down further. Here's a BPT Summon Skull. Let me try to get a little bit better lighting so you can see the shine a bit more. I don't know if that made it better or worse, but it is what it is. Summon Skull out of BBT. So there are really fun cards like this, and I'm still chasing them down. I've been a bit lax about collecting stuff for my vintage collection, but, there's fun stuff to get vintage-wise, but I sort of know what I want, and so I'm more so waiting for deals on these things as opposed to discovering new cards. And so that's a trade-off you have to make. Let me know what you guys think about that. Are you more vintage or more modern collectors? Do you enjoy sort of waiting for cards that you already know about to drop in price or to find a good deal on them? Or are you more someone who enjoys the fact that there are always new cards coming out, there are new things to chase after, and that means that there's stuff that, you always have a carrot in front of you that you can go after. Here's a page that I really love. We've got the Magnet Warriors. These are always fun. Some of my favorite vintage cards. And I remember Duelist of the Roses on the PS2 as a kid. That was a lot of fun. Here's a page that I actually have a lot of work to do. I've been really neglecting this binder, and going back and looking through it reminds me of that. And so there's work to be done. You know, here's a Yada. We can compare it with this is Unlimited out of Legacy of Darkness. You can compare it with a Starlight Rare. Not quite as shiny, but it still looks very, very beautiful. I'm a huge fan of Yada, and it's an iconic card, so it's hard not to be. There's a Legacy of Darkness secret rare. So I don't know if I'm going to try to get a playset or what I'm planning, but there's a lot of cool stuff here. Here's Injection Fairy Lily, another fun one out of Legacy of Darkness. Two really nice secret rares from Legacy of Darkness. This would be a cool one to get in Starlight Rare if they do quarter century secret rare. That might be a lot of fun. One thing is with modern cards, there's the new rarity collection, and they have now it's super easy to get quarter century secret rares. They've been kind of easy to get, and then especially things like collector rares and the new ultimate rare. The new ultimate rare doesn't look like the old ultimate rare, so I think ultimate rares will be fine. But the new collector rare, I don't think collector rares are going to hold much value. And I've been a huge fan of collector rares. I still am, and I'm still going to collect them. So to a certain extent, it's nice for me because this means that I can just go after some cards that I've been wanting, and they're probably going to drop in price. So for me as a collector, it's fun because I can now pick up more of the things that I otherwise would want for cheaper. But for people who really are, regret making buying decisions because they see the card go down, and to a certain extent, if you buy something and you watch it sort of drop in price 2 weeks later, you feel like, man, why didn't I just wait? And so you can have this sort of paralysis where it doesn't feel great to buy anything if everything's just plummeting. But, at the same time, I'm just buying these things to have fun. There's no investing that I'm trying to do. So finally, last page of my fusions, then I'll show off some sort of modern cards, kind of mid-era and then modern. So some more really nice stuff. Some fusion monsters from the beginning, back when fusions were, I don't know, you needed poly to use them. They weren't very useful, for sure. So that's a vintage binder that I've been working on. And just looking through it now, I haven't looked through it in a little bit. There's still definitely some work that I can do on it. And so that's exciting because I might get back to sort of going after these vintage cards, wait for some modern cards to sort of fall in price, especially stuff from the rarity collection. I think I'm just going to wait for that to sort of go down in price and see where I end up after that and where prices end up after that. So this is a mid-era binder. So we've got the ultimate rare Earthbound Immortals, some of the coolest stuff. I mean, Earthbound Immortals for me are one of the most underrated sort of archetypes of cards. I mean, these things were, the main antagonist monsters from the first season of 5Ds. And you see something like Stardust Dragon is, astronomical in price and people love it. But give the Earthbound Immortals some love. I actually like them better than Stardust Dragon. These are fun as well. The Sun Dragon Inti and Moon Dragon Killia. I forget the guy who uses it. He's the guy who uses the Earthbound Immortal Raka. I'm not going to even try to pronounce that. I would embarrass myself. And then we've got some princess cards. Elemental Mistress Doriado, and then Princess Kuran and Princess Pikaru. This is a really fun one from, I think this is out of this is Lost Millennium. Really, really cool card. The foiling looks crazy on the EU print, but even on NA print, it pops quite nicely. Whoa, voice crack. And this is another binder that I haven't really been putting cards into, and so maybe I've been neglecting it a bit. This is kind of getting me excited to collect vintage again, because I haven't looked at this binder in a bit. Here's one where this is not really a vintage card. This is truly a mid-era card. We've got Trishula, nice ultimate rare. I don't know if the price has dropped on these Astral Pack cards as much as some of the OTS Pack ultimate rares, but this binder page has a lot to be completed. And then we've got the Queen's Knight, Jack's Knight, and King's Knight. Love that page, all unlimited. A lot of fun to collect this stuff, especially when you go with unlimited and you go like lightly played. It's not super expensive most of the time. Some GX and 5Ds, or this is all 5Ds. So we've got the Nordic gods up top. I don't know how well those can be seen. Those are a lot of fun. And then we got some GX and some sort of other mid-era stuff. Elemental Hero Divine Neos. This card for a while was under 10 bucks and near mint unlimited. It might be even cheaper than what I bought these for. I think I bought these for around like 6 bucks. Really, really awesome card at a crossroads of chaos. I mean, this is getting me excited to go back to the mid-era, because with vintage, I kind of know all the cards. Mid-era, there's still some stuff that every now and again, like, you know, you don't think too much about, but the artwork looks insane. Case in point, Latinum Exarch of Dark World. I mean, this is a really, really cool artwork. The foiling pops on the ultimate rare. Really nice one. So just looking at these cards makes me excited to go back. I haven't looked through this binder in a while, and you can see that some pages are complete. Got some ghost rares up here. Got Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Very iconic card. Super fun. This is a Zexal page on the right. And I did watch some of Zexal. I just would put it on while I go on my bike. Stationary bike, and so, you know, something you can just have on in the background. It's really for kids, and so it's not deep in plot. You don't really need to pay too much attention. And then finally, we have some spells and traps. I really need to work on my spells and traps in this binder. Time Machine. I don't think there's anything else in here. So there's a lot to be done in this binder, and so I'll have to get back to that. I've been focusing a lot more on modern cards than I think my vintage and mid-era stuff, so maybe this warrants a deep dive back into my older stuff. Now, in terms of modern, I mentioned Darkhold Dragon. That's something that I'm looking forward to trying to pick up. But there's other stuff as well, you know. Here's the binder that I've been using. Collector rares. I'm hoping to really up my collector rare game, and I'm a huge fan of the collector rares. But I hope that once the rarity collection hits, you know, collector rares will be dirt cheap, and so it'll be essentially free money, or not free money, but really, really easy to get these things. And so I'm excited to get them because I think the foiling looks insane. The rarity collection is mainly staples, and so it's kind of a win-win for me because I'm not trying to collect most of those staples, and that means that now the rarity itself is devalued, so I can get a lot of stuff like this probably for cheaper. Because not everything can hold value, and once something becomes very accessible, like the collector rare now will be, you know, it's probably not going to hold the value that it once did. Got some more collectors. This is a card that I showed off recently, but this is one of the chases for me. First edition Tooned Chaos was that was a ride. I love that set. Tooned Chaos is, you know, one of the best sets of the modern era, if not the best set. And so it's exciting to get. We've got some Starlight rares. I do need to get the new Magicians of Bonds and Unity. Some other Starlight rares that are fun. Love the book card. Yatagarasu. Might as well slot in my new Yatagarasu. Probably finish off the playset soon. This card has been in free fall, as I said. I think it's like 50 bucks on TCG Player now, which means I might be able to pick one up on like Reddit or Facebook for 40 bucks. That'd be really, really nice. Got some OCG stuff. One Brothers of Legend card there. Maybe I'll get another Japanese Astral Utopia to finish that one off. Some Japanese stuff. I'm always a fan of the Japanese stuff, and so it's nice to see these prismatics. I'm hoping with the new Quarter Century Secret Rare rarity spread in the new modern sets that we'll be able to get more cards in these sort of prismatic rarities. Because with Starlight rares, you only got 5 per core set. And so there were a lot of cards like, for example, Master of Chaos that would have looked insane in Starlight rare, but we didn't ever get it in a prismatic rarity in the TCG. So it was a bit of a shame. Then we've got Ultimate Rares. I've already talked about this one in a video. We've got some other cool ones. Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon up top, and then Firewall Dragon at the bottom. I think this thing's pretty cheap right now. And they just released a Quarter Century Secret Rare, so hopefully I can pick up another one of those. Ghost Rares have been sort of the sleeper in all of this. All the prices are dropping, but these Ghost Rares are doing surprisingly well. I think that they printed the living crap out of them in Ghost from the Past 2, but now that they're not releasing any more Ghost from the Past Ghost from the Past has been opened up and opened up, but people really like these cards, and it's not, the supply is not replenishing itself as much as it once did. And so I have already a playset of this on top of this card that you're seeing, Blue Eyes Ultimate. Maybe I'll pick up more of those as well. There's just so much stuff to collect. There's so much cool stuff to collect, and so you can never be done collecting. But hopefully you guys did enjoy that. This was the classic ramble, show off what I bought video. Let me know what you guys think. It's been your boy Watomor Melon. Peace out.